the moisture depreciation. But it won't necessarily give you yeah, you can't suck the moisture out if it rains too much at the wrong time of the year. But it does mean if you work on a slightly more arid map than normal, you could put pivots out in a field. That would need to be a mod as well to offset the fact that there's not enough rainfall to feed the crops. Kind of like the whole theory with the rice deal. With rice, you've got a little pump at the side of the field. You plant the rice, you turn the tap, it floods the field, the rice is happy. And if you don't keep the field flooded, then the rice might die or just produce less. So yeah, it's a fun little mechanic there, and yeah, it wouldn't take too much to introduce. Okay, you can add pivots to a field, which obviously for the track of the pivot you're not going to be able to grow stuff, because you need to keep the lanes free for the pivot wheels to run along. But you could introduce moisture levels for all crops, not just rice. Be interesting to see if that's a direction we end up going. For now, obviously not a thing for us. And maybe someone can work out a mod for it, and then Giants can steal that mod for the next version. And I don't blame Giants for doing it. You know, obviously the seasons came out in 2017. Was introduced reasonably early for 2019, and I think there was a huge following for that mod, and so Giants is going to look at that and say, people want that functionality in our game, we should provide it base game, especially since consoles have difficulty adding those types of mods in. Giants had to work with Realismus to get seasons into the game, so that if a console player wanted to play with seasons, there was a lot of the season code within the main game. Now this time we're seeing, you know, Coursplay's been around for a long time, and there is quite an uptake in people using Courseplay, especially when they're playing on maps with not square fields, because up until Farm Sim 22, our workers aren't particularly great at dealing with fields that have rounded edges, banjo shaped or whatever. The worker just gets messed up and doesn't work well. So effectively what we have now is almost Courseplay light, where the worker uses press that where the worker uses a sort of GPS course to work a field. Now the advantage with having that is the worker can now, or what the worker's doing can be used for guidance steering. So we kind of have a combo GPS Courseplay Lite functionality for workers in game, And the nice thing about that is you could set up a guidance steering course, you could drive some of it, and then you could say, okay, well, I want the worker to take over now, and the worker will take over, which is brilliant, because the worker will drive the same course you were. So there's no overlap, there's no nothing, just get out there and do the thing. And some water tanks. I think I've still got my diesel over here. I'm going to fill this tractor up now. I think we're going to leave it set up because we're going to need it in April. How's the... Oh. Guess we can refuel it that way. So the one thing I am going to miss having this here. I don't think we've seen that as a mod coming out. I also haven't seen this yet as a mod. There's a couple of others I would like to see, like the used equipment stuff. But that's fine for now. Okay, you can stop there. Okay, let us go here, center the map on the farm and have a look at pH. There's nothing I can do about pH. But these fields all need to be limed. Did that field not get... I don't know. Most of our fields are looking fine for that. This one will need to be sprayed. Might need to walk over there, have a look at that. That looks like it's over nitrogenated. That might be reasonable. That probably definitely needs some. And that might need some too. Okay. Let's go get the sprayer loaded up and then see what needs to get done. Actually, while we're in the shed, or while we're in the shop, we'll quickly fix that. And get this started. Oh, another change I have made. I am streaming at 1080. I am playing at 1440. Once again, don't know if that's an issue. I have noticed there is a fair amount of ghosting of graphics when I'm playing Railroader and moving the camera around. So I'm trying to eliminate that. Okay, start filling. That one there. Oh, we've got a ton of liquid fertilizer. That's good. I think I bought a ton last time because we're going to have so many fields that need to get done. Turn that on. Turn on crop sensor. And that's full. Oh, I can go over here. That's all good. So I'm guessing if this field is a basis of nitrogen levels, then the rest of these fields are good. I am going to drive on the big field, see if that says it's good too. good. So it looks like the only thing I've got to do is the new fields over here, and some of these might not need to get done. We're going to need to chop down that row of trees too. Not sure if I'll do that off camera or not. Oh, this field is sugar beets. That was not good. Let's try that one again. So I think we found, yeah, this is so much more than is needed. But 220 over 180. But I think when we did sugar beets before in a field that previously hadn't been ours, we did end up with a very high nitrogen level. But it did not seem to adversely affect. Okay, narrow tires, we're good on that. Did not seem to adversely affect the yield on the sugar beets. So, all right. Zoom out a bit so we can see what we're doing, and eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That one. And whatever this crop is needs an absolute ton of nitrogen, which is fine. Into the corner, and off we go again. So this field will not take long. But yeah, different crops, different pH or nitrogen levels. pH is generally standard. Nitrogen is definitely variable by crop, and we have learnt that we will be getting precision farming in Farm Sim 25. So for better or worse, we will take a look at that. I'm hoping that all of the base game crops, which is obviously going to include the vegetables and the rice, will now be compatible with this is going to be awkward. Is going to be compatible with precision farming. And if that's the case, that'll be awesome, because it won't restrict us from playing any of the new crops. Oh, that was something Clutch said about the new crops are all well and good, but you have to have the harvesting equipment, which a lot of it costs, it's the cost of a harvester for every single crop you want to grow. So spinach needs its harvester, peas needs its harvester, and consequently, that's a big cost outlay to become a spinach farmer. So it's kind of the argument I've made in the past. If you want to get into cereal crops, you can get into all of the cereal crops because you can just buy a harvester and a draper, and some of those are quite cheap, and then do that, you've got the ability to do that crop. Plus, many of the crops use the same seeders, so it's a good way. It's a good starting thing you can do. You could do sunflowers, corn, and I think there's something else. I just can't remember. Hang on a sec. Let's fight this thing round the field a bit. And then once we've done this, I'm going to go and look in the store to continue my thought. Should be able to now get it all the way into that corner over there. Good. And we have a little blotch in the middle of the field. Oops. And then this is done. So that didn't take a lot of stuff. Alright. Fold that up while I look in the store. So, corn headers. Corn headers can be used for sunflowers and corn. Okay, just those. But if you've already got the harvester, you can add sunflowers or corn to your cereals. And that's a fairly cheap expansion. So, I've got, little harvester, 30,000 for the header. I can go 130,000 there. The the Nova 330 is even cheaper. That's less than 100,000 for a harvester. Not sure how big comparison. That's 5 meters. That's 6 meters. So for 1 meter, you're adding 30,000 to the cost. I think more than that maybe. But small harvester you can get into fairly quickly. And then, I want to do sunflowers. Well, if you want to do sunflowers, you could just pick up one of those. If you want to do corn and or sunflowers, you could pick up one of those. So 20,000 to add a new crop. The problem is you also need to add a new seeder, because this does all those crops. This one does the sunflower and the corn.